is that normal here? It just slapped me right in the face. The stereotypes are real. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of Did I Say It Right? Podcast. I'm Carly, and I'm very excited that you're here. Today, we're going to be talking about the differences between an Asian country and a European one. Stuff that you should prepare about, whether you're planning to move to Germany or just trying to visit. This podcast is all about those funny, confusing, sometimes awkward, but always real moments that happen when two cultures collide. I'll be sharing my experiences, the things that I'm still figuring out, things that make me go, wait, is that normal here? Whether you're an expat, someone curious about cultural differences, or just here for a good laugh, welcome. Thank you so much for listening or watching. And I hope that you stick around as we unpack the little surprises of life between two worlds. But of course, before we get started, I would like to tell a little bit more about me. So, my name is Carly, and I recently moved here in Germany last July of 2025 to get married. Ooh. So, I'm here for a few months only, and currently I am learning German. So, if you follow me on my social media, you would see that I'm posting about my journey in my Deutsch course or in learning German because that is like the biggest thing that's happening to me right now. And I'm also not new about moving to a new country because when I was 18, my family and I moved to Thailand and we've been living there for 9 years. So I'm 27 now. So I was living there when before I moved to Germany. So I might add some thoughts about Thailand and Philippines too, because these two countries are very much my home. But the thing is, here in Germany, the difference are pretty much right in your face, where in Thailand and Philippines is a little bit more subtle. Of course, the language are very different, but the surroundings, the people, of course, you get the point. And so, what are we waiting for? Let's get started to our first point. Well, our first point is not exactly cultural per se, but it's definitely one of the most big difference, one of the biggest difference between Asia and Europe, I would say. And it is the weather, guys. Are we surprised? I don't think so, but let me rant. The difference between the temperatures and the weather is completely different. It's mind blowing. I first came here in Germany last 2022 of December to have a visit with my now husband's family. And as soon as I'm down, as soon as I left the plane, the coldness, to be fair, it was December. The coldness is so it just slapped me right in the face and it was so mind blowing for me. It almost feels like having an ice bath, but there's no water. You're not wet. It's just a sudden splash of wind to your face. And I was very culturally shocked from that point. And of course, I am unprepared with the clothes. Of course, here in Thailand or in Philippines, you try to wear a thick jacket. You bring stuff that you think is thick enough. But as soon as I stepped in Germany, it was so cold that I realized that my thickest jacket is never going to be enough. So that was very cold. And the sad thing is, I was expecting for snow. I was here for 3 weeks in December, and no snow came. Which is funny because people assume that it's always snowing here, but it's not the case, guys. It's different. It used to snow, they said, but now it's much more different. Like snowing in the Christmas is such a rare and amazing part of the year, if it even happens. My dad even asked me when I moved here this year in July, he asked me if it's already snowing. And I'm like, Dad, it's July, it's summer here. So, speaking about summer, their summer here is amazing. 100% would recommend compared to the summer in Philippines and in Thailand where you're basically a boiled potato if you try to walk outside on a 12 o'clock. Summer here is sunny, but you can still walk outside because the wind is so cool and breezy. I got married in July and we had a little ceremony in the garden after the wedding, and it was so beautiful. People can go outside and just have some fun, which is very rare to if you're trying to celebrate weddings in Philippines or I would say in Thailand, you would want to be inside an establishment where it's air conditioned, especially if it's summer. But here in Germany, it was very beautiful. Flowers are blooming. I understand why summer is so very much loved by the Germans and the sun. I've never enjoyed sun as much as I do now being here in Germany, let me tell you. Now it is autumn around this time of the month, and I don't know if you noticed, but my lighting is changing. It's because the sun goes in and out. And it's pretty funny. Maybe in an Asian country, the weather would change by day or by week. Like this week is all sunny, next week is all rainy. Here, it changes by the hour. Okay. In the morning, it's going to be sunny. Afternoon, it's raining. It's a little bit unpredictable here. Not a little bit. It's much, much more unpredictable here. And I'm still trying to learn about the proper clothing because I guess everything falls into just being prepared with your clothes, wearing the proper things. And I'm still figuring it. Sometimes I over prepare and sometimes I underdress. But I guess it's part of the process. So if you are planning to come visit here or live here, please prepare clothes appropriately. Don't ever think that you are over preparing. I guess it's never bad to be very much prepared. But if you are like me, who was very much Asian, grew up in an Asian country where it's always hot, don't underestimate how cold it can be here because it's very, very different. But also, I'm trying to learn every day, what to, how to, and what to, especially because I love dressing up. I prepared a lot of cute outfits because I thought you'd still be able to wear them on autumn also. But no, right now, I'm mostly covered 24/7 like a burrito. And I brought a lot of dresses from Thailand only to realize that they are summer clothes here. And now that summer is past, I cannot wear them outside because I'm going to be too cold. So yeah, right now I'm living off through socks, overalls, scarves, tights, yeah, many kinds of those things. But again, I'm clarifying that it's not always bad. It's not always a bad weather. I'd say there are also good times, which is I love. And when they are good times, they are good times. Speaking of weather, I would also like to point out their daylight savings and how amazing it is for me, the concept. Well, back in where I'm from, there had always been a specific hour where the sun sets and the sun rises. But here, there's this thing called daylight savings, or basically, I meant that if it's summer, the sun or the daytime is longer than night, and when it's winter, it's the opposite. It's also very much a difference for me when I first came here to find out that it's already 10 p.m. and there's still sun outside. And that confused me a lot. How, why it's 10 and it's still sunny, and they can adjust their clock an hour ahead. I did some research why, not research, but just a light reading actually, why daylight savings are a thing. And it says to make better use of natural daylight, the idea is to shift an hour of daylight from the morning to the evening, aligning waking hours more closely with daylight. Very interesting. Very, I think the one who thought about this is smart. And also, it's pretty cool that the rest of the country or the world, the part of the world that needs it, followed it. Of course, in Philippines or in Thailand, if it's winter time, the I would say the sun sets a little bit earlier than usual. Like regularly the sun sets around 6, but if it's December or winter time, it would be setting at 4 or 5. But that's it, not too extreme as being up until 10. Okay. So that is daylight saving for you guys. For those who don't know it, it's a pretty interesting phenomenon. And it makes me realize that I couldn't trust the sun to know what time is it. So I guess before we move on to our second point, the main takeaway of the first point is that be prepared with your clothing, guys. Wear proper clothes or just mainly brace yourself. Up next is the trash system. Now, hear me out. For those of you guys who has never been to Europe, or like me, I grew up in the Philippines as I would say right in the middle class. Depends on the time, we are on the upper middle or lower middle, but it's just usually there. And I have absolutely no concept or no idea about Germany except the stereotypical stuff. But my point is, back in the Philippines, there are no separation or whatever, especially in the household. Everything is just trash. There is a specific trash bin and we just throw all our trashes there, mixed up. But of course there are some movements or some recycling things maybe in establishments, schools, um, shops, but most people don't really bat an eye on it. We are very familiar about the segregations, but it's a completely different level here in Germany. It's one of my first cultural shocks as well. I cannot just throw from any trash bins because every trash bin has a purpose, basically. So Germans mostly have 4 or more trash bins in the house. The main trash bins are, first, they have the general waste where you can throw everything there. That's pretty much what we are familiar with. The second is the bio, which are basically biodegradable substances. And the third one is plastics, and fourth is paper. At least that is what we have in our house. Let me know if I've missed other things. The concept is that if it's plastic, you have to throw it in a plastic bin and not just throw it, but you also have to clean it. You have to rinse it. And it depends, okay? It depends on the variety, how strict people are with their trash. Other people's are really strict that they have to, for example, it's a water bottle. They have to remove the plastic around that bottle and throw it in a separate place. But for me, for us, it's not that intense, I would say. But in general, my husband handles all of the waste disposal because he is a German and he is more aware on how these things go. But of course, I'm also slowly educating myself into it. It's very interesting for me. I think it's very smart, very environmentally friendly, and it minimizes the jobs of the trash collectors, or it also makes recycling easier, I would say. I, I really love this system. the trash system. Of course, you have to learn it and stuff, but once you've got a hang of it, I think it's not so much of a problem. Also, it's interesting with their bottles. Our bottles, we have to throw it at a specific spot, and you have to segregate it by color. There are green bottles, you throw the green bottles here, you throw the white ones, the brown, and so on. There are also bottles that are returnable, which is the fun part. But let me know actually. I'm not very familiar with the trash disposal yet. I've been hearing some arguments. Where does bone, like chicken bone, go? Does it just go to bio or whatever? And like the nets, when you buy a vegetable, it's hanging on a plastic net. Where does that go? I heard you can't just throw it in the plastic containers. So that is the trash and waste disposal. Very good on Germany. So, trash system, very great example for Germany. And I think it should be practiced by many other countries as well, especially around in Asia. But yeah, that's the takeaway. And now I think we are ready for the next topic, which is tap water. I'm not gonna lie, guys. This is still one of the funniest stories that I have when I'm thinking about the first few moments here in Germany. Because after traveling, my husband offered me if whether I want to drink some water. And of course, it has been a long traveling. And I said, yes, sure, please. And he took a glass, put it in the sink, and put some tap water there and offered it to me. And my Asian self is very surprised at this. I was like, what are you doing? What are you offering me? I'm a little bit speechless at that moment. But then, of course, he explained that no problem. This is a very safe water, very clean water. So it should be good. But of course, it did not stop me from being skeptical about it. I cannot drink tap water for a few days, and he had to get me a water. He had to get me my water every time. And as long as I'm not seeing it, I have no problem, even though, of course, it is from the tap. And of course, I see people drinking in the sink in many, many movies, but I thought it's just a concept, trying to be quirky. Like, it's not really how it is in real life, but apparently it is real life, guys. And I think most countries in Europe drink tap water. I don't know anyone, or I don't think any German does not drink from the tap. Everybody does it. It's so normal. Water here is also certified very clean. There are many websites that you can visit to check the quality of the water. And so far, I have never experienced any stomach problems for it. I would recommend, and it makes life easier because in Philippines or in Thailand, as we know, we have to order drinking water every time. So that's additional expense, and additional expense is always not cool. Here in Germany, you don't have to pay for clean drinking water, which is very nice. But of course I think maybe it's just me, but I really had to I really mentally struggled psyching myself up to think like, nah, this is okay. This is an okay drink because it has been, of course, it has been conditioned for years that that's not how we do it. We absolutely do not drink from the tap. But of course, when you move in Germany, you have to get used to it. And it's nice. I have no complaints about it. But also, the sparkling water is a thing here. People prefer drinking sparkling water. I have not been introduced to sparkling water in the Philippines, but in Thailand, I know sparkling water. It is some something that you mixed with an alcohol, so it has some sizzle on it. But drinking it alone is a completely new thing for me. So I realized that people drink sparkling water here as a replacement for sodas, or it's just I don't know, people just like it. I didn't like it in the beginning, but now I am drinking sparkling water and I'm mixing it with many beverages as well. I love it, especially with wine. So, yeah, you should try that out. You can try it out and see if it's for you or if it's not. It's also fine, of course. So, the key takeaway here is tap water in Germany is an absolutely yes, drinkable. You should also try to drink the sparkling water and let me know what you think, whether you like it or not, especially if you're a Filipino or a Thai. Yes. But tap water in Asian countries mostly, they are undrinkable. Do not drink, okay? But you can use them for brushing your teeth or so, as long as you're gonna spit it out. So it is now time again to go to our next topic. Our next topic is a little bit related to the sink and tap water. We're still in the bathroom. No bidet, guys. They don't have bidet here. They probably have bidet here. At least I've seen on some parts of Europe they do, but it looks completely different. It's you might have to sit on another thing, but I'm pertaining to the bidet. It's more common in Asia, and it's just very nice, very efficient way of cleaning yourself after going to the bathroom, and they don't have it here in Germany, guys. This is also one of the things that I'm gonna prepare my friends or family if they want to visit here. There is no bidet here, and they use tissue paper, tissue roll, so it's like completely dry, which is completely different also to how I'm used to do it, because as a Filipino, we know we use bucket of water. We use water a lot. I use water a lot. And that's totally not going to be a case here in Germany because they want their bathrooms dry, completely dry as much as they can. Okay, because of the molds, which is again not a thought, not it's not a thing in the Philippines. Of course, I'm not saying that mold is not a thing in the Philippines. It's just that we don't consider it to be something worth taking note when we are building a house or anything. At least in my social circle or to where I'm from, okay? Most people, most Filipinos just doesn't worry about it. Okay, most of our bathrooms are always wet. That's just how it is. So here in Germany, you better consider it, especially when you're going to come and visit to a friend and you're going to stay with them. I would say they want their bathrooms always dry as much as possible. And there's no bidet here. So me, I use wet wipes and showerings, just shower instantly or you know, bring a wet wipe, guys. I think that'll save you. While it is pretty funny, it can be a real struggle. So I just want to point it out. And I guess that was mainly what I can say about having no bidet, which is a very culturally different thing. Of course, my husband and I are trying to get that if it's possible. I know it must be possible, right? Let me know if you have a bidet in your bathroom. But right now we are looking around and so far it's very challenging to find one. I will update you guys if we actually find some. Our next topic is as stereotypical as it can be, punctuality. Punctuality or being on time. Guys, the stereotypes are real. People here love to be on time, especially on events, official events, and stuff. But I think it's not that crazy. Just at least on the circle that I'm with, they're not very, very early to a certain thing, especially if it's very friendly, if the gathering is friendly. Of course, you can be a few minutes late. But the thing with Germans is they inform people when they're going to be late. I'm going to be 5 or 15 minutes late. They message beforehand. And I think that is a very good character to have, because Filipinos, of course, Filipino time, if you're 30 minutes late, it's fine, it's acceptable. So we usually even schedule meetings, or for example, we will say, okay, our meeting's going to be at 12, but people would really expect you at 1, because it's normal for us to be late. I love the German time, or like their respect of other people's time. It's just your time is not more precious than the others. I also don't like the idea of other people waiting on me. So I like to inform them when we're going to be late. And of course, also I would like to be informed if people are going to be late, so I don't have to wait for so long. I think it's just a matter of caring about other people's time. But if it's an official appointment, of course, people come really either on time. On time is actually late. You have to be there at least 15 minutes or 30 minutes earlier. I think that's very good. So the process could flow very normally. If it's an official thing, like you have to go to a doctor or bureaucracy, I think that's very good. This part of the stereotype for Germans are what I like the most, because I'm also the kind of person that gets anxious if I'm running late and the people that I'm with has no sense of urgency. I love being on time as well. So German punctuality is such a plus for me. Bing. So if you're trying to move here or visit here, make sure that you are also on time or you respect people's time. I would also love to hear from you guys about what you think in the podcast. But for now, I'm going to go to Reddit and see what other people experience when it comes to differences in Germany. I'm just here on Reddit. I'm going to read the first point. So one says everything official needs at least 2 to 4 weeks of lead time. That is very correct, especially Auslanderbehörde, or like their immigration here. I'm currently trying to go through it, and yeah, 2 to 4 weeks is very minimal. Sometimes it takes months. Even the doctor's appointment, you have to schedule weeks or even months before. Here, it says apartments are unfurnished. This includes light fixtures and often kitchens. One apartment I looked at years ago didn't have a bathroom. Whoa. You will have to paint the walls as well. That's a little bit too extreme, but yeah, I know most of the apartments are very unfurnished. The most common thing that I've heard of is the kitchen. You have to buy your own kitchen. So that is very different from Philippines, or at least in Thailand. In Thailand, most apartments are furnished. You just move in. Okay, next is it. This is 2 points. First of all, Germans will always tell you how bad Germans and Germany are. Second, here in Germany are nice people and people who are not that nice, just like in every other country. But yeah, I agree about the first point. They say Germans love to complain, and I think it is quite true. The thing is, they're not afraid of voicing out their opinions, what they think, and it's okay to complain. So, yeah, Germans are such complainers. It's also a funny thing that I tell with my husband whenever he complains. So, yeah, those are just some of the Reddit posts that are very relatable and funny. Maybe next time I can read some of the comments. And that's it for today's episode of Did I Say It Right? Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And I hope that you enjoyed a little peek into the cultural twist and turns of life between Philippines and Germany. Can you tell me which part was your favorite and which one do you disagree or agree with? If you're listening on Spotify, don't forget to follow the podcast so you'll get notified every time a new episode drops. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you won't miss a story. And of course, I'd also love to hear from you. Share your own culture shocks, differences, stories in the comments, or message me. Who knows? Your experience might be featured in the future episode. And of course, follow me on my social media. It is at Carly BLK, CarlieBLK. I'll put it in the description. Just follow me so we can stay connected. Until next time, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Did I say it right?